Welcome back to my channel. My name is Deborah Smith. I am the owner of Poobs Logistics LLC, a women-owned small business, government contracting, executive coaching business. And today we have Mr. Judah White. He is actually going to share a story with you on how he won his first government contract in the state of Indiana. But one thing before he shares his story that I have to share with you is that Mr. Judah White is a very determined individual. He came across many challenges within the government contracting journey, but he did not give up on himself. He was willing to make the investment. You know what? I'm going to let him tell his story. I feel like he could tell it better. So, Judah, how are you today?
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm all right. How y'all doing?
It's nice to see you.
It was always nice to see you too. Once again, I appreciate you having me on your platform.
Absolutely.
So, a little bit about myself. My name is Judah White with Clean Water Worldwide Academy, and my life has changed. I'm now a boss, big boss, if you feel me. You feel me? It's only possible by Miss Deborah Smith right here in her program. So, on a serious note, like she said, I've been up through a lot of challenges, and government contracting truly saved my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. So before you found my training, I want to ask you, what did you believe about government contracting? Did you think it was hard? Was it something that, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I thought it was going to take, so with contracts, there's so many different portals and there's so many contracts listed out there every day.
Yeah.
You will really get overwhelmed. Okay. If you don't have the right mentor and if you don't practice the right things. And I thought it was going to take me forever to navigate. And the only thing that was really holding me back was myself. Okay. It was yourself. And when I tapped in with you, you told me, hey, take a deep breath, slow it down. And you have programs where you can navigate through portals. You make it very easy.
Mhm.
And if I didn't have that right there, I'd probably be scrambling right now trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of people do get to the portal navigation and they don't quite understand that there's a lot of amazing opportunities. So it's an exciting time when you're just starting out. So there's thousands of opportunities out there. And how did you know what contract to actually bid on, right? Like, what was inside of my training, the contract is yours, that actually helped you to choose the right one instead of wasting a bunch of time because there's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, no, seriously, like you absolutely don't know which contract to bid on. And if you're green, like if you're at an absolute beginner stage, you're going to be lost in the sauce, is what I say. You're going to be lost in the sauce, but you offer the $97 contract. You offer to find someone a contract. No mentors do that. And that right there, I cut all the corners. I just paid for that specific. Oh my gosh, it was so easy because now that I'm in it, I'm like, wow, she really just found me a contract
Yeah.
for 97 bucks. What? And bossed me all the way up. So that really put me ahead of the game and
Yeah.
on a whole nother level once you found me that contract. And no mentors out here in government contracting. They offer to find you a contract. Game changer.
Right. I love that. I love that you mentioned that because I spend a lot of time on portals, but I noticed that contract selection is very big, and that's something that we do behind the scenes. So I don't hand that off to my team. I actually get that back to you in 24 hours because, like you said, it helps you move and skip this analysis paralysis. Oh my God, what do I bid on? What do I choose? Right? So I put that in place for that specific reason because I want people to be bidding by Monday morning or 24 to 48 hours later. So I'm glad that you made the investment in that and that also it was helpful. So walk us through the moment that you decided to actually submit your first government contract. Like, what gave you the confidence to stop
Yeah.
overthinking and actually decide to go for it?
Yeah. Okay. So with me, my head was all over the place. And you teach a thing called mindset. Okay. And all the beginners out there, you really need to hear this out. Sure, this government contractor thing can change your life. Okay. Sure, it's going to boss you all the way up. But if you don't have the right mindset first, when you first begin, you still have your 9 to 5 thoughts. Okay. You're not in the 9 to 5 anymore. So you also offer another program called, I think it's called the Mindset Workbook. Okay. And that right there got me all the way in tune where this has to go. I keep pointing here. You have to get this right first because you're not going to understand. You have to unlearn what you think you know, honestly. Stop what you think you know, which is what you told me, and you were there to hold my hand for that. But that workbook, the mindset workbook, put me there. And that after I took that course, after I purchased that workbook, I'm sorry, that gave me the confidence and the mindset. Oh, okay, cut all the filler, get the strategy, and kill.
Yeah. I want you to know that every investment that you made, you actually implemented it into your business strategy. So you didn't just invest and then let the training sit, right? Because we could see behind the scenes what
Mhm.
progress is being done. We're kind of looking at the report card and the stats of who's opening the course, when the modules are completed. Every single thing that you invested in, Judah, you implemented, and then it brought you to this win. So I want to talk about this. Did you win this contract through the middleman strategy, also known as the subcontractor play?
Most definitely.
Yes. Okay. Let's talk about that a little bit. So, what happened with your subcontractor when you approached this contract that you approached?
Yeah. Okay. So I like to overthink. So if I didn't have you in my corner to tell me, hey, see, let me just slow it down. I like to micromanage sometimes, and that can really be like I had the wrong idea in it. And the fact that you were my mentor and I had access to you to answer any question that I had, I almost lost my subcontractor because I wanted to micromanage him and try to tell the subcontractor how to do their business, which is a big no-no. You told me to, hey, slow it down. They already gave you the contract. Let them trust you and let your subcontractor who's been in the game for 4 to 5 years already, let them do what they've been doing for years. And that strategy changed the way I thought about business. Okay, guys. One thing about it is when Deborah Smith teaches you, you got to stop thinking that you know what you know about business, man. I thought I knew how business works, and the middleman strategy, just have to unlearn and listen to your mentor. And now that I know how to do the strategy, I completely view business differently, totally differently now. And sorry, I get off on a tangent sometimes, but I can elaborate more on your question. I go. You know how I like to teach. I like to go.
I like to go. So, would you say that the middleman strategy is 100% real and doable in government contracting?
Take it from me. I'm from Nickel Avenue. I'm not supposed to be here. Okay. The middleman strategy has absolutely changed my life, the entire trajectory of my life, and I owe that to you.
I appreciate you, and I'm glad that you're part of my community and that you've implemented everything up until this point because it's exciting to watch. So, tell us what the contract was actually for. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the contract was for Internet Safety Speaker Series. Okay. So the Indiana Department of Education, they educate educators of Indiana all across Indiana, and they needed to educate these educators on internet safety, AI, getting your password taken, how if you upload a photo, they never leave, things of that nature. And I know nothing about it, right? I'm not an expert, but I reached out to a subcontractor using the middleman strategy. He's all the way in Nebraska, and he's a non-for-profit business. And I used the middleman strategy. Hey, can you do the work? Here's what the work is. Put two and two together. And the fact that he was a nonprofit organization, he cut me a major discount. So more money in my pocket, because they do it for the love. Cha-ching!
So, is everything online? That
Everything, yeah, everything's online. I didn't have to. I didn't have to put boots on the ground. Uh, I did a lot of it from my phone, and my phone's all broken up. I got a whole contract through my phone. I didn't have to do much. I let my so there was a point in time. So you guys who are new, there was a point in time where my subcontractor had to take off. He had to take off some time, and I was panicking. And I came to you like, hey, what do I need to do? I'm just panicking. I'm not sure. He's not getting back with me. And you just told me, hey, when you're dealing with subcontractors, these things happen. Make sure you have a backup and a backup for your backup. And most of all, just trust the process. Okay. They already gave you the contract. Slow it down, take a deep breath. And I did exactly what you told me to do. Slowed it down, just took a deep breath, and I remained in compliant and full communication with the state, of course. And everything went as planned. And after he came back from his time off, it was something to do with family, but it didn't necessarily interfere with the compliance. I just panicked. It was all in my head. I'm like, I
Yeah.
did all that panicking for no reason. It was all in my head. And you told me that.
It happens, right? Because it's a new experience, right? We're not quite sure, but it's a journey, And another situation was the contracting officer. I notice a lot of my clients, there's fear when they go in to deal with the contracting officer because he or she makes a very strong decision in the fact of if you are awarded or if you are declined the contract. So there's a little bit of fear there, and I teach this in my workbook. How was the experience with the contracting officer that
Yeah.
awarded you this contract?
Yeah. So I'm not going to give all that sauce, but you got to get the workbook first. But inside that workbook, so check this out. Before you told me about that digital product, the workbook, whew, all right. The contract, this is going to be one of the most nervous things talking to your contracting officer. At least you think, right? So when you offered that product and showed me the product, when I followed the steps on how to deal with the contracting officer, I thought that the lady was going to be some lady just going to judge me and just not even going to be a down to earth person. Okay, there's a couple of steps that you tell us to follow. Okay, in this workbook, and I followed each step. And when I got on the phone with the contracting officer, she was just like me. It was just it was like we've been friends for years. I've just met the woman, and you told me that government contracting, the contracting officers are just regular people. Slow down. They're regular people. In government contracting, you're in your head a lot. It really is a mindset thing. So when you reach out to Deborah Smith, really tap into the mindset area because the contracting officer, proposals, submit that stuff's easy once you get out of here. And that's why, honestly, I needed Deborah Smith. But to go back to the question, the contracting officer, yeah. So once I got all the jitters out and read the workbook, like it just made it simple. She ended up being so down to earth that once the contract was over, I tried to see if I could exercise and get more profit. But since the contract was closed, since I had got all the jitters out and got everything out the way, she offered me another contract just because I was down to earth with her on the phone. And you gave a little bit of sauce in your workbook on how to be very communicative and create relationships. And since I
Yeah.
took that advice to create the relationship, I wasn't able to add more value to that same contract, but the contracting officer sent me another contract just off just off creating that relationship.
Yeah. So you know what's very big in our contracting process when we're awarded, I notice about 3 to 4 months or 5 months inside of the contract, immediately the contracting officer is talking about other projects that we could potentially bid on and win, which is recurring work. And if you can fulfill a contract and be there on time, proper PPE, your communication is very strong, you're doing a good job on site, 9 times out of 10, the work will repeat. That's why you see a lot of contracts that have option years. You might see option one, okay? Fulfill the contract, show us what you can do, and from there, Then we'll decide if we're going to give you option year number 2, 3, and 4. That's what that is about. You have to prove to the government that you can actually execute these projects. Okay? Because if not, option 2, 3, and 4, they don't exist. So now you have the capability and the ability to be able to show that you're the best woman or man for the job. All right, so I want you guys to keep that in mind. You also bring up mindset a lot, and I got to touch on that. 9 to 5 in entrepreneurship is very different. When you are at a 9 to 5, someone is writing your schedule, your lifestyle, and approving every single move you make. When you come into government contracting, there is no boss. No one's telling you when the deadline is due, and no one is covering you. You are in full control of what you bid on, what you execute, how you communicate. That's the shift. So, for you to come out of that mindset into entrepreneurship, there's a bridge that happens, and you have to follow a simple set of steps. I would also like to lean in and say, if you have goals and you're trying to make $1 million by December of 2026, stop listening to people who do not have that same goal. Get away from the naysayers because the thoughts that you are having are very real. And people are time wasters and they think that you're the same. Your visions are very real and God gave them to you for a reason. Okay? I want to tell you that first to your face because it matters, honey. All right, so we're going to get back into the interview, but I feel like I always got to get that off my chest because clients get so wrapped up in letting other people dictate their journey. It's your journey. You're the one that gets to call the shots, okay? So this is a good one. What was the biggest lesson that you actually learned from this government contract in your eyes?
Hmm. The biggest lesson I learned was it's not as big or as bad or as scary as you think. You can do anything. Like get in the contract, calling that contracting officer, completing your course. At first, I was like, how am I going to complete a course? Wasn't that bad. Was it going to be so? It's going to be hard. How is it? It's not even hard. So I overthought everything down to the course, down to the contracting officer, talking to them, down to reading the RFQ. So I said the biggest thing is stop overthinking. And honestly, I didn't know that until you let me know. Hey, Judith, you're overthinking a lot. You are. You're overthinking. So my thing was simplicity. This is simple. Just make things simple. And I learned that from you. And I applied that in my everyday life. Also, I make everything simpler now. It can be so simple.
It could all be so simple.
It can all be so simple.
But you were willing to give yourself the time and grace, and I think that that's, very big. You were willing to you actually knew what you wanted out of this. And I think that kept you very determined and focused, right? So, congratulations for that because that's very big. So, if someone watching feels like they're too inexperienced or they're too small, right? Or they think, you know, government contracts are only for the bigger companies. Now that you've actually won, what would you say to someone who feels that way, who's watching?
I would say join Deborah Smith's program for sure. Like, and you guys need a couple more 1,000 hours in. Okay. If you want to cut the corners, go ahead and tap in with Deborah. But you have to do the work yourself. Okay. But you need to tap in with a mentor who actually cares about you. There's mentors that don't really care. They just put it out there and do it. You take it from me, take it from Judah White. You reach out to Deborah Smith and she'll really take care of you. Like, really care about your situation, really care about your personal life too, because it's all in one. Okay. So if you're still having doubts about it, I'd say find your mentor, join the program.
Right.
Okay.
Good answer. Good answer. So you had this is a little bonus question right here, but I want to throw this in because I want to point people to your link tree, to
Yes.
your consultations. You're from the state of Indiana, and in the beginning, when we started working together, you faced some challenges getting inside of Indiana's portal. For those of you who don't know what a portal is, it's a government contracting job board, also known as load board, where the government drops work and solicitations for us to bid on. This is where we find our contracts. And the state of Indiana was very confusing and a little bit overwhelming for Judah. So during that journey, you actually learned how to become one of the best people in the state of Indiana to turn to help with portal registration because the portal gives you the ability to get paid. They know who to reach out to. They see that your company is compliant. Can people work with you if they're having confusion registering in the state of Indiana?
Definitely.
Most
Most definitely reach out to me. Reach out to my Instagram, Judah White underscore, and my link is in the bio, my Linktree. And I offer different products that can definitely help you. The Clean Water Worldwide Academy. I have even down to an advisory call, proposal checklist, and definitely tap in. We can help you. But let me say one thing. Miss Deborah Smith made that portal. Let me tell you something, guys. You tap in with Miss Deborah, let her know you're serious. Before she even knew me, she did a whole video, got on my portals, showed me how to do Indiana portal. She said, "This is how you do it, boy." Show me the whole video on how to navigate through my state. Oh my God. She showed me how to navigate. Okay. You guys need to tap in. This is what I'm talking about a mentor who actually cares about you. No mentor is going to do that for you. Okay.
Yeah. There are a lot of states, all 50 states purchase services and goods through the government. But once I realized how to get into the top three, I can access any portal in all 50 states
Yep.
because there is a blueprint. Now, each portal may actually look different,
Yeah.
but once you know the system of how to register in a portal properly, what keywords to look for,
Yeah.
how to get all your information in and double check it 3, 4 times. There's a blueprint and it's inside of the contract is yours training. Once you know that blueprint in one portal in any state, it will follow to multiple different states. So when you're investing in the one for 97, I am in that portal in under 60 seconds scouting you an opportunity. When you're investing in the contract is yours training, okay, that is something that you're enrolled in for 180 days. It's module based. You can do it at night after your 9 to 5. A lot of clients take the training and they bid on government contracts at the same exact time. Okay. Any problem that you're having in government contracting, Poobs Logistics LLC has a solution. If you're struggling in the state of Indiana, you can't get in that portal. It's a very tight portal. The way they do things is very tight. I want you to get with Judah. He has the experience, he's been on the journey, he knows what he's doing. He's brought success all the way to this Indiana state win. So I would like to say congratulations. If you have additional questions, please drop them down below so we can clarify anything that we didn't hit in this interview. I also want to say, whatever you are thinking that is good, think bigger. Bye for now.